Hello, hello, hello. It's Thursday. What is it? It's the end of November. I cannot believe that we are at the end of November. Um, Here we are. No, that's in November. Oh my gosh. I'm looking ahead. It's the end of February. It's February 26th. Today is Thursday. It is February 26th. Something must be happening in November that makes me keep saying November when I actually mean February. But here we are. It is Thursday. It is February 26th, and we are at the end of Black History Month. And I'm excited to be here tonight. I'm Dr. Tangi. I'm show host here. Welcome to Let's Talk Power Live, where we talk about power in education in real and operational ways, because we know that power in education is real and instructional power is even more real. But before you go any further, want to make sure you are a subscriber, because tonight's show is a little bit different than all the other shows. And if you are a subscriber to Let's Talk Power Live, thank you so much for being a subscriber. Well, we always start with what we're thankful for. So what am I thankful for? I'm thankful that my sister and my nephew my nephew's headed already in Japan. He got there yesterday, today, it's depending upon what time he left. He is a marathon runner, and he is doing a marathon in Japan. And my sister is on her way across all the water and air and everything else to meet him and celebrate with him. So I'm thankful for safe travel. I'm thankful for the experience that they're going to have being in Japan. Having been there, it is an incredible country. And if anyone gave me the opportunity to go anywhere in the world, I would go there. So yes, I'm excited about them going, and I'm thankful for them being there. So here's my question to you. What are you thankful for? It is always important to take time to be thankful for something, anything, because gratitude makes room for more. So what are we doing tonight? Tonight is a little bit different. But I want to stage set, and I want to go back and always talk about power in education. What is power in education? And power in education, I give it the definition every week. I read it for you, and I'm going to do that right now. So here it is. Power in education is the instrument of democratic designs, and it is no less the instrument of power, the control of information. My computer's doing something where it is the control of information and the shaping of understanding, the influence of judgment are critical elements common to democratic design, power theory, and educational philosophy. That is what educational power is all about, or power in education. But then again, let's talk about instructional power. What is instructional power itself? It can be understood as an educator's use of their state, district, and building ascribed job-related authority to afford or constrain a student's access to learning. And when they are doing that access to learning, what that really is, it really is actions that leaders or educators, and for me, an educator is one at any level, whether you lead a district, a building, or a school. At any level, if your decisions touch a child's access to an excellent education that they deserve, then you are going to be exercising your power to either make that access available to them or hold that access back, afford or constrain. So that is what instructional power is all about. And so tonight, we're going to do something different tonight. Tonight, we are celebrating 3 years of instructional power, understanding the instructional power, the curriculum, and language decisions to support each child. And here's the thing, we're doing this with a mini workshop on the Instructional Power 101. And tonight's experience is really about noticing power in action. It's going to allow you to reflect on decisions, analyze a real moment, and preview the IP 101 journey. People ask me a lot of times, well, what is instructional power? What's the journey about? Well, I thought, you know what? It'd be fun tonight to invite subscribers in and have y'all join me and let's walk through this. And here's the fun part. If you stay all the way through the end, you get your name entered into our drawing so that you can actually get a copy of the book. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see right here my pin. We have this exclusive book pin. So if you're staying with us all the way through the rest of our time together, you're going to be able to get your name put into the drawing to get a signed copy of the book and our exclusive pin. So let's go ahead and get started. I want to ground us. If you follow the show, every week I start off, even before we have guests, I start off by giving you some data points, because numbers matter. The way we understand the landscape from a research perspective is really important. And so I want to give you these three pieces. Did you know that power changes how we perceive others? It's true. I'm old enough. I'm a woman of a certain age. And I grew up watching that commercial where they would take a cast iron skillet and they would crack an egg open and say, this is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. Well, your brain really does have a power center. And well, not a center, but there's a place inside your brain that when you are a person in a position of power, that it reacts and that shifts how you perceive those that you are in power, quote unquote, over or have authority over. So it really it changes those perceptions of people. Did you know that people in authority rely more on assumptions under pressure? So when you are pressured, you're going to hit what I call a default button. You have a default center inside your brain, and your assumptions about people or situations, that's going to be the overrider of what your reaction space and time is going to be. So when you're a person in power or in a position of power, you're really going to react differently depending upon what you've got going on and the stressors in your life. Did you know stress increases control-based decisions? You probably knew that one. But what happens is when you are in a heightened sense of stress, your control begins to take over because you are feeling what's a sense of threat. And your brain has a single job. Your brain's job is to keep you alive. And if a situation is threatening that, it is going to cause your brain to kick into your flight, your fright, or your freeze mode. And it's going to stop your reasoning center from activating. And that's what happens in stress points. And so that's really the kind of research base. But inside the actual IP 101, this is what happens. We begin to unlock this journey of knowledge building. I'm a classroom teacher, so we talk about knowledge building all the time. But the knowledge building, you begin to experience and unlock these in our very, very first module. So I want to lead you through some other pieces, right? Memories are really, really important. We love to talk about memories, but as you move through the modules themselves, you begin to experience your own sense of your memory centers. right? So, what I'm going to ask you to do right now is to stop for a moment. If you haven't already done so, grab something to allow you to take some notes. And while you're grabbing that, I'm going to grab my tea. I'm going to take a sip of my tea right now. It's really good. I'm going to ask you to grab something to write with, something to capture your ideas. Inside all of these modules, we offer you note taking tools. But right now, I want you to think about a meeting or a class that felt difficult recently. What was it like? What was going on inside that class or inside that meeting? And I want you to think about what decisions you might have made quickly. Were there any kind of what we call involuntary decisions that you made? And I want you to think about what might have influenced those decisions. And while you might be thinking in the moment that it was the decisions, it was the person in front of you or the student in front of you who was, creating the environment or made the environment difficult, as you would learn in module 3, as you experience the ideas in module 3 at the end of 2 and into 3, it's your memory. It is you leaning into unconsciously around how you understand power from the space of where did you learn power from? We tend to learn power at home first. Who has authority? Where was the line of authority first? And that is where the sort of way you understood that tough meeting or that tough class, that understanding of how power shapes you begins to come out when you're in those situations. And if you were like me, I learned about power at home. My mom and dad were very specific about who was in charge with what and when. But then when I went to school, I learned different modes of power and authority, but it's always adult centered. And I walked away with understanding that as an adult, they behave in a certain way when it comes to children. When you are an adult now and you are working with children, you bring all of your memories of authority and power, positive, negative, because they're never neutral. All of that comes with you, and they shape the way in which you are reacting in the moment. And so, as you live inside module 3, we ask you to really name the very specific ways in which you learned about power and how you understood it. And one of the critical questions we ask is, how do your memories direct the way you understand and use your power in your role and educational contexts? Because you're using it with your students, if you are the classroom teacher, and if you're the principal, right? Or if you're the instructional coach. And if you're the building principal, you're using your own personal histories with power, and they're shaping how you understand what's going on inside your learning environment and the learning environment you create. That's what's happening. And we dig through that in your journey through you, not Udemy. Here I am with my units, right? The curriculum, but as you live and breathe and move through module 4. But then we want to get some action. And one of the critical areas that we really want people to dig into is, this idea of instructional power is definitely conceptual. And I want to make no mistake about it. I understand that this idea of power can actually feel very, very conceptual, right? Like, oh, this idea of power is all up here, it's in my head. But here's the thing. We understand that power is real. We can watch it, we can see it happening, but we have to have the tools in order to disrupt the harmful ways in which educators at every level are using it to do that affording or constraining. And so part of the work of IP 101, it is about noticing. We want you to notice one, how you understand power. We want you to notice and remember and connect to your memories about your personal experiences with power, how you learned about it. And we want you to then move from memory to motion. We want you to get it motion. We want you to get active. Um, because as an educator, again, at every level, you are responsible for making sure that, you're responsible for making sure that your buildings and your classrooms are operating at an optimal level. And so we really want to make sure that you have the skills and the tools that you need in order to make sure that when those dynamics of power are showing up, you are equipped to either one, lean in and congratulate and actively support, or you need to lean in and actively disrupt. And you can support because you watch it being used to build agency, but you're going to have to disrupt when you watch it be turned into that disenfranchisement. So, what does that mean by way of the work? So, by way of the work, it turns into what we call this action, right? Getting to the root of why and how you made decisions. And this is one of the critical actions in module 4, where we're moving you into action. And we give you this organizer to work with. We want you to, one, analyze, stop for a moment, analyze what happened in the situation. From analyze, we want you to inquire, because we want you to think about the assumptions that might be shaping or operating that causes the outcomes, right? Or that's shaping the actions that you're taking on the analyze side. So, number one, analyze, ask yourself, what happened? Number two, inquire. What assumptions are at work right now? And then number three, we want to get to like, what actions, what decisions did you actually make? What did you actually do? And then the last one, it is reflect. What outcomes were produced? And as you can see, the way it is laid out here, it is an ongoing circle. And in the book, it is laid out so that you can see it as a cyclical process. It is an iterative process so that you can really get into this analysis piece and dig into thinking about your own, again, power memories, your power center. That's really important. And then the environment. Now, this is the piece de resistance, right? These are the critical elements of the power work. As an educator, you create one of these 4 environmental dimensions. Now, of course, there are more. I came up with these 4 based upon my work and my research. So the first one, dimension 1, is empowering. Dimension 2 is agentive. Dimension 3 is the protective. And dimension 4 is the disenfranchising. And you dig into these as you live through the experiences in module 5. You really kind of dig into the definition of each of these, how to really identify each of these, what it looks like in practice. So that's something to really think about. And we really walk you through, what is it like to be in a disenfranchising environment? But I'll tell you what, right now, I'm going to ask you, do this exercise with me if you're watching. Before we go on, wait a second. Have you subscribed? Make sure you subscribe, because if you are still here at the end, I'm going to put your name in a drawing so that you can win a signed copy of the book and the exclusive pin. I go back. A disenfranchising environment. I want you to think about this. Go back in your own schooling. Think about that class where you just hated to go to. your stomach hurt, you got a headache. If you were a small child and you were in elementary, it was the when you just didn't want to go to school because so and so was your teacher. Yeah, that's disenfranchising. You feel isolated. You feel like you don't belong there. The teacher uses language, or the building leader, if you're working and it's the building leader and you don't want to go to work, you are dealing with a hostile environment. Learning is hard, working is hard. There's obvious favoritism going on, right? Measures of all the different isms are going on, right? Contrast that with the empowering. Your not just your voice is heard, right? Because we can hear your voice, but you're listened to actively. You are an active partner in the learning environment. That's the critical difference between disenfranchising and empowering. And that's what you really experience. And we ask you to lean into that in Module 5 to really help you experience one, what you might have encountered as a learner and as a worker, but then what might you actually be creating? We like to think we are creating agentic and empowering learning environments. But can I be honest with you for a moment? I had to come to terms with the fact that early in my career, I was a power protector and I harmed children, not on purpose. My intention was to build them up. But my demeanor, I was so hard driving because of my understanding of the adult relationship relative to children, right? That relationship between adults and kids. I had to come to grips that I was a power protector. That's what we get to there. So now, so far tonight, we have walked through modules 2, module 3, module 4, 5, and module 6. These are the areas that we get to walk through when it comes to the entire Instructional Power 101 environment. It is an experience. I had one person tell me, I didn't realize how much my history and my own personal understanding of instruction, of my power, really was shaping the environment. And I had a leader who worked with us with her entire team. And she said, this course was eye opening. And it really gave her language to share and to see her environment through a new set of lenses. And that's the language that we offer for you. We are excited to give you this opportunity to work with us to enjoy and experience Instructional Power 101. So that is what we have. And that's what we walk through. You walk through this entire module tonight. And this was our mini workshop. I hope that you enjoyed it. And so let's kind of go through what the actual journey looks like. So in module 1, you're going to do an understanding your instructional power. That's sort of the basics and the foundation. If we go back to those did you knows, that begins to unfold in modules 1 and module 2. You do some reading, some reflecting. In module 3, you're going to work with the memories and your decision making. In your learning environments, that really becomes in module 4, where you begin to experience those 4 dimensions. You're going to look at language. You're going to really explore how your use of language shapes the learning environment itself. And then in module 5, you're going to experience the learning dynamics, the power dynamics in modules 6 and 7. Well, modules 5 is kind of wrapped around. That's why you see it twice here, because there are extended opportunities for learning and exercises in those. And then in module 6, you really do a mapping of your learning environment itself. And then in module 7, we give some very, very specific leadership strategies to support leaders in this particular work. And so we're excited about this journey for you as a leader. And I want to go ahead and give you how you can get connected. This is your invitation. We are inviting you to experience Instructional Power 101. There is the QR code. Go ahead and scan that QR code. There is the link right there on the banner so that you can go ahead and get yourself connected to the course, experience the entirety of the course. It's been a delight to walk you through that. And we're excited for you to join that journey. Thank you for being here. I'm going to go ahead and put this banner up for you again. And that is the Instructional Power 101. That is how you get it. Go ahead and scan the QR code. And it has been an actual pleasure to walk you through this exciting course. We look forward to having you join us. And thank you for joining Let's Talk Power Live for tonight. Next month, just so you know, we are starting a new body. I don't call it body of work. I always call things a body of work, but we're starting fresh. Next month is Women's History Month. And we've got a fantastic group of women who are going to join the show. We are going to continue looking at the ways in which women and power impact education. So if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe, share, because we know what happens when you share and you like, it changes the algorithms and it allows YouTube to let you know that we are here. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share it with somebody else. All right, everybody, this is Dr. Tangi. Have a great rest of your Thursday, and we will see you next week.